appreciate you working on that. So much has happened over the summer, and it appears the deluge of activities is going to continue through November 2026. So I'll do my best to summarize what we've been up to and where we are going in the coming months. First of all, has anyone noticed a difference in the Democratic Club of Lincoln's newsletter lately? Yeah. Holly Stryker has just done a tremendous job streamlining the look and feel and organizing the content of our newsletter. So thank you, Holly. You're just doing a great job. We really appreciate it. And I want to shout out to Paula Kriegel and Karen Meredith for the great work that they've done updating our website and boosting our social media presence. So thanks to Paula and Karen. I'd also like to acknowledge the great work of Sandy Graham on membership. We are over 500 members now, thanks to her efforts and those of her predecessor, Marty Mattson, who built a very strong foundation for growth for us. So thank you, Sandy. So, after a very successful town hall with Congressman Jared Huffman and Sam Liccardo in May, we organized a democracy workshop with the Placer Dems in June. Show of hands, how many of you were able to join us for that training? Okay. Our objective was to provide tools and approaches to help our volunteers have a bigger impact with their efforts. We covered everything from hosting house parties to writing letters to the editor. And judging by the number of letters to the editor being published by Democrats in Placer County and the number of coffee and conversation events being organized in Lincoln and Rockland, the workshop was a huge success. So look out for the next democracy workshop planned for October. So all we're doing is trying to boost your skills if you're using social media or if you're writing letters to the editor or any other activity, canvassing or phone banking. We just want you to be as good as you can be at doing that. Lincoln Dems had a great showing at the city's 4th of July parade this year, and as always, June did a super job of organizing us. Thank you, June. We conducted our second Coffee and Conversation event in Lincoln Crossing in July. Thank you, Diane Silveira, for hosting us. And we learned a lot from the discussion. The listening part of these events is so important to ensuring that we're meeting the expectations of our voters and supporting them in the actions they are prepared to take as we approach the upcoming elections. We have another event scheduled for the Teal Hollow neighborhood later this month, and have a slew of events being planned for September and October, so stay tuned. We held a PDI Connect training for those using the mobile app to canvass their neighbors for coffee and conversation events. This training was recorded. For those of you who want to join the Coffee and Conversation team, let me know and I'll make it available to you. We also held an observer training for the team that's following the Lincoln City Council, conducted by Karen Enkhuizen from the League of Women Voters. This training is also recorded for future viewing. We organized a sign-making party and had a strong showing at Indivisible's No Kings rally on June 14th. So thank you, Linda Youngmeyer, for helping to organize that sign-making party. I don't know, how many of you participated in the No Kings rally? Yeah, there we go, yes. This was the biggest protest against Trump and Trumpism in Placer County so far. We had more than 3,000 people that showed up. We organized participation in several protests at Kevin Kiley's Rockland office with various labor organizations to bring attention to the damage his vote for the big ugly bill would do to Medicaid, Medicare, and our entire healthcare system. Indeed, this has been a summer of coalition building, collaborating with labor, indivisible groups, nonprofits like Public Schools Strong, and Democratic clubs and central committees across the district on a broad range of initiatives to counter the threats to our democracy. This pro-democracy coalition will be critical to winning the November 4th vote on redistricting and the several congressional races that will take place in Placer County in November 2026. We've made such great strides as an activist organization over the last year that the Democratic Club of Lincoln was recognized by the Placer County Democratic Party for our political action at the annual Roosevelt Kennedy fundraiser dinner on August 8th. And we had a great crowd from Lincoln in attendance. I was just so pleased to see so many of us there. And if you were there, you know I acknowledge that this award belongs to all of us. The political action team, led by Harriet Crute and Holly Stryker, the club's executive board, and all of our members. Thank you for all you've done to help us get organized to meet the challenge before us. Because our work has just begun. We have big battles ahead and not a lot of time to get ready. Republicans know their policies are deeply unpopular amongst Americans, not just Democrats, and are desperate to hold on to power. In state after state, they're challenging voter rolls, restricting access to the ballot box, and now they want to ban mail-in ballots. Even that won't be enough to stem the tide of dissent to Trump's authoritarian takeover of our government. So now they're asking Republican states like Texas to redraw their congressional districts, ensuring Republican victories and disenfranchising millions of voters. Governor Gavin Newsom is standing up to Trump and is preparing California to fight fire with fire. There will be an election on November 4th to ratify Proposition 50, the Election Rigging Response Act, which draws new congressional districts in the state. We must have an overwhelming victory in this election and send a message to the anti-democratic forces in our country. And who is leading the charge to prevent California from taking measures to ensure our values are fairly represented in Congress? CD3's Congressman Kevin Kiley. That's who. He's championing a bill to mandate non-political drawing of congressional districts. And of course, this is the ideal scenario and one that California adopted in the 2020 census, after the 2020 census. But this decision was taken at a different time in our political history. Everything changed when Texas disenfranchised Democratic voters with their redistricting plan. Democrats have to fight for fair representation, and this is the only tool we have because the courts will not stop Trump's efforts to rig the election. Once Democrats have the leadership, we will work hard to ensure California's nonpartisan commission approach is adopted by all 50 states in the future. So Kiley can cut the crap about Newsom being a dictator and subverting the will of the people. We have a vote in this.
Yeah. Right on.
By the way, Kiley knows full well his party will never vote for such a bill. This is another example of how self-serving Kiley is. Not only can he tout a bill that would save his job, potentially, in CD3, but he's using the opportunity to promote the bill on MSNBC and NPR, pretending to be bipartisan. Make no mistake, people, Kevin Kiley is MAGA to his core. Kevin, with his Republican colleagues in Congress, has supported every authoritarian move of Trump's, either explicitly, like the invasion of Los Angeles, or implicitly by his silence on issues like tariffs, which are wreaking havoc with our economy, or this Gestapo of masked, heavily armed thugs who are at Trump's command will invade cities across our country, or even EPA's retraction of scientific findings related to climate change. He's been silent. The 2025 redistricting vote must be seen for what it is, a referendum on Trump and Trumpism. The chaos, the economic volatility, the violation of our civil rights, the repudiation of the rule of law, the cozying up to vicious dictators and undermining our allies, the threats to our social safety net, to our health, our environment, and education. Trump, with Kiley's help, is destroying the fabric of our nation. They are destroying everything that made America great. By voting to ensure fair democratic representation in Congress, we are standing up and saying, no, we will not accept this assault on our democracy. We will fight back. We will restore a co-equal branch of government. I know all of you will do everything humanly possible to deliver this victory in November. So stay tuned for details on how you can help. We need you in this battle. We need you. And then we will turn our attention to the 2026 election. Kiley must be defeated. He has violated his oath of office by not holding Trump accountable. He does not share our values, fully supporting Project 2025, and he is a coward. He is such a coward that he still refuses to face his constituents and answer questions about his votes and his silence on critical issues affecting our quality of life. How many of you tuned in to his faux town hall last week?
He didn't call me. He didn't call me.
Yeah, he's such an asshole. He really is. What an abomination. He sidestepped every question that challenged him and hid behind the telephone to prevent any follow-up. He offered up a senior deduction for Social Security income that is so convoluted it'll cost more to figure out if you can benefit from it than you possibly could gain from the benefit itself, right? Plus, how depraved does he think his senior constituents are that they would trade a couple of $100 or even a couple of $1,000 for their freedom, for their civil rights, for the rule of law? Is that what he thinks of us?
Yeah.
I have news for him. Remember, the big ugly bill that Kiley voted for gives seniors a pittance, but gave Trump hundreds of billions of dollars for a Gestapo and concentration camps that he will use not only to deport illegal immigrants without due process, he will use his personal militia to terrorize all immigrants and his perceived political enemies. He will use this militia to intimidate Democratic voters in the election. That's what Kiley gave his constituents. We don't need a coward in Congress. We don't need a self-serving Trump sycophant. We need someone who has a track record of actually defending our Constitution, who shares our values, and who will honor his oath of office to exercise congressional authority and restrict Trump's out-of-control power grab. Without a Democratic Congress in 2026, there will be no check on Trump's power. As such, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to our newest candidate for Kiley's seat in Congress, Tyler Vandenberg.